Are you a maple syrup truther? Sorry.
It's okay, I just might throw up into the microphone again.
Is that new?
No, I'm just preemptively apologizing. Because, sometimes it just happens and I can't control it.
No, I know. Trust me, I'm
but
aware.
I feel this one.
I'm pretty sure you're going to hear my stomach growling in the last one.
That's fine. Maybe that was what the noise was. I don't know. It sounded like a thump, but who knows?
I think it might have been because the cord for my microphone was like resting on the little tripod.
Yeah, it probably was that.
I wonder if it was that,
Yeah.
like just any tiny slight movement like made it do something.
Who knows? That's why I had to get a floor stand, was because mine was picking up every time I kicked my desk.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure I also like fell asleep for a couple seconds during the last episode, not gonna lie.
You got
quiet for a long time.
Yeah. Look,
That's okay.
But I rearranged my microphone and...
Yeah, I'm not hearing it anymore.
Okay.
So, okay, cool.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and do the intro.
It'll be better this time.
It should be fine. Hello, everybody. You're listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive. I'm Shannon.
I'm Shelby.
I'm Hannah.
Yay. Okay.
Almost just hit the stop button. No, not
Oh
necessary.
my god.
And we're out.
Oh, man. Okay. Do we have any announcements for when we stopped recording about 5 minutes ago?
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys my story.
We can do it after this.
Yeah,
the one she's not allowed to say on
can't
air.
put on air. Okay.
Yeah.
My only announcement is that I might have fallen asleep during the last episode. I don't actually know, though.
Go back
May
and
have
listen to last week's
blacked out, may have
episode where Shelby was
dissociated.
quiet for like
The entire thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look.
It's fine.
I don't
It
know.
happens.
It's
Yeah.
been a week. It's only
Mm,
Tuesday. Oh, God.
yeah,
I
seriously.
thought all day that it was Wednesday, and I was like, yes, we get to go home early because we have early release days on Wednesday. And I was like, it's going to be so short. It's going to be great. The kids are leaving at 2, and boy,
And
was
then
I wrong.
It didn't happen.
See, I keep
And
thinking...
then we had a fire drill instead.
Ew. I keep thinking it's Saturday because my schedule is all over the damn place right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm at my sister's house, and it's a Tuesday, but in my head
my
it's
God.
Wednesday.
She sent me
Or
that
it's Saturday.
Snapchat of Maisie and Sheldon, and
Oh
Sheldon
my
looks
god.
so mad.
He's so mad. Okay, so the thing
How
is,
dare
my
you bring
sister...
this dog back.
My sister has a cat. She used to have 2 until a couple weeks ago. We had to put Sonny down. I think I already mentioned this before. He was 19 and
R.I.P.
old.
Sonny.
And yeah. So Sheldon's still here. Sheldon's almost 10. And Sheldon is Satan incarnate. And
Sheldon is almost 10.
yeah, we got
Oh
him
my
our senior
God.
year of high school.
Yeah, I remember when that little shithead was a baby.
Uh-huh. He was so
I
cute as a
remember
baby.
him playing with your DVD
Yeah, he was
player.
cute but evil.
Yeah. 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 So
Acutely
he's here.
evil.
So the thing is, Shelby's cat plays with Maisie by hissing and swatting at her. And now Maisie thinks that's how all cats play.
Oh,
So she
yeah.
thinks that
It's
Sheldon
because-
is playing with her.
Because my cat doesn't know how to cat, and so
No,
she
she does
doesn't
not.
understand that like hissing and swatting are like signs of aggression.
Yeah.
Listen, Minnie doesn't even know how to hiss. It's really funny.
Yeah.
She just goes,
I mean, Yuki doesn't know how to meow. She
No,
just,
she like goes,
chitters.
meh, meh, meh.
yeah, she's a dog and it's very precious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheldon also doesn't have claws. We're not going to get into that whole discussion right now, but he doesn't have claws. But yeah, she thinks that he's playing when he is very clearly, to me and Allie, not playing, but Maisie's an idiot, and the only cat she's been around is also an idiot, so it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'm in Allie's... Allie lives in a 3-bedroom house by herself, so I'm in the room she has set up as an office, and then Maisie is currently in the room that she and I will be sleeping in.
Allie is living the life. And
She really
by
is.
Living the
Seriously.
life.
Well, I guess I live in a
mean,
3-bedroom house alone.
She
Yeah.
has a big
Never
house,
mind.
and everything else is falling apart. But
Yes.
it's fine.
I just got jealous of her for being in the
was
same
gonna
exact
say.
situation I'm in.
Hers is newer, if that makes you
Yours
feel
is
any
haunted,
better.
which
Yeah.
is
My house is literally
Hers is
made of
haunted.
horsehair.
It is made of horsehair.
If you kick up dust, there's a possibility a dead horse will go into your lungs.
Yep. Well, and then also, too, this is the house she found after she had to move out of the one that was, like, had mushrooms growing in the kitchen. So.
My mushrooms only grow in the basement, so I guess I'm lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're contained.
No, hers were in her cabinets.
They were literally in the kitchen cabinets. It was fucking disgusting.
I hate that for her.
I probably have that email that I sent somewhere in my sent emails with the list of everything that was wrong with that house.
I have the picture of it that you sent to me.
Yeah, I'm sure that's in my phone somewhere. But yeah, so yeah, my schedule is all out of whack because I think it's Saturday. It's not. It's Tuesday.
Girl, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, but like all day today, I was like, it's not as busy as I thought. I'm like, that's because it's a fucking Tuesday, you dumbass.
Yeah, I'm on the second early day in a row, so I have no concept of time. I literally went to bed at 6:30 last night, so...
Yeah.
Oof, I took one of those naps last night where I came home, fell on the couch, woke up at 7.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Are you off tomorrow, though?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
I mean, we might have a realtor in our apartment, maybe, who knows.
Maybe.
But
No, they'll just contact us 10 minutes after the fact and be like, oh, it's canceled.
yeah, that was our whole thing with our property management people that we alluded to last time. They keep scheduling showings and then canceling them. The first one, they gave us an hour notice, and it was on a Saturday, so we were like, oh, okay, maybe the person just, like, had something come up. The one... Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
God, that was only yesterday. I'm so fucking out of it. That was yesterday. They gave me 5 minutes of notice.
Well, and it wouldn't be a
coming.
problem
Oh
as much of a problem if we didn't have to be here. But so far, they don't have a key to the building. So someone has to be here to let them in.
Well, like, honestly, I would want to, like, I was talking about it with my mom, and I was like, I would want to be there anyway just for Maisie. You know, because she's insane.
Right.
Right, and it's like, you're gonna be disturbing my cat, like...
Yeah. But yeah, and so, like...
People, so...
Well, I'm just like, I would rather be there if someone's in our apartment, whatever. And so, like, I had kind of, like, not rearranged my schedule, but I was actually, like, up and, like, presentable a lot earlier than I normally would have been on a Monday. Yeah. Which is showing us at, like, 11:30, but my first class isn't until 1, and I work from home on Mondays, so I'm usually in pajamas until 12:45.
If we didn't have a showing tomorrow, I 1000% would not be getting dressed tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, like...
no.
Yeah, and so, like, all of our communication is through text message because no one answers anything else. And so I sent them a text whenever they told me it's canceled, and I was like, are you serious? This is the second one in 3 days. And, you know, hours later, fucking Brandon texted me back and was like, well, you know, we know that you guys don't want anyone in the apartment because you told us that, so we've just been having people watch the video of your apartment. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? We never said that. Like, we literally never said that. We said we wanted them to be virtual, but that's what they're doing anyway. And I was like, okay, so I sent him one back and I was like, 1, we never said that. And 2, even if we did, like, you need to tell us that that's what's happening. Like, no.
Right, like, you can't just be like, oh, you're gonna have a showing tomorrow, and then no one shows up.
Yeah.
Because, like, we've cleaned the whole apartment. Somebody is here to let you in, and, like, all this stuff. Like, I can't rearrange my entire life around your potential future renters.
Which, have we actually explained? I know we're talking about this a lot, but, like, I have 3 pages of notes, guys. Like, we need to fill this with something. Have we actually explained on the podcast our whole issue with our lease?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. Okay, so we live in Champaign-Urbana. I'm not going to say which one, even though I probably already have. They're 2 separate towns, but there's, like, they grew into each other, basically, and that's where University of Illinois is. Mm-hmm. Apparently around here, I'm not there currently, but in that area, apparently it is relatively normal for, you know, if your lease starts in August, you're going to be asked to renew in October.
Yeah.
And apparently that's just how they do shit, which we were obviously not aware of, and there's nothing in our lease about it.
Your renewal makes you solely financially responsible for the unit for that entire next year.
Yeah, so if you have to sublease, if the sublessor fucks up, that's on you.
Yeah, and that's the only thing you can do is to sublease it.
Because I asked,
like, get out of it in any other way.
Yeah, because I asked, like, okay, what if we sign and something comes up? And he said, get a sublessor. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So we didn't renew.
Right, like, it's not like we're in the middle of a pandemic or anything and something unexpected might happen.
Well, and, like, for all I know, one of us is going to move back, or we might find a third roommate. I don't fucking know.
Right, like,
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. And plus, it's been 2 fucking months. How do we know if we're going to want to renew?
Exactly.
Like, how do we know that at the house across the street...
on naive college students.
It's
literally all it is.
It is. And we didn't go along with it because we're not naive college students.
Right.
We're naive graduate students.
Yeah. Like, I even, like, U of I has a student legal services where they provide, like, attorneys for you for stuff. I contacted them and was like, is there anything I can do? And the woman I talked to was like, we literally founded this office back in the 70s because of this practice. So it's been going on since at least the 70s. But the problem is Illinois landlord-tenant law is very landlord-friendly. Yeah. So, like, until we get, like, the city or the county to do something about it, nothing will happen. But that isn't going to happen because college kids don't vote. And so no one on any board anywhere is actually going to bat for college students, even though we bring in, like, all of the money for the county.
Yeah.
Anyway, because we didn't renew, our unit is now listed, like, as a available unit, and so people are doing, like, viewings of it, quote unquote, which the first one they sent us was after we had a different issue where someone from their office just showed up at our door and called me and was like, hey, we're coming to video your unit. And I was like, the fuck you're not. And I went downstairs and I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, well, they said that you cleaned it and we're ready. And I was like, we never had this conversation, girl. And then I called and left an angry voicemail because I was just so frustrated with the whole thing. And then 2 days later, we got the automated text about the showing. And so I responded and was like, so we get no answer for the other issue. And now you're doing a full showing. And they answered, Brandon texted me back again and was like, oh, I thought I messaged you. She just had the wrong unit written down. I was like, no, she didn't. She had my name, my phone number, and my unit number correct. Like, that is not what happened, but okay. And so then the day after that, we had the first showing canceled. And then yesterday, we had another showing canceled. And
apparently the showings are scheduled by, like, an automated system. And so it automatically, like, sends us a text message if they, like,
set it up, basically.
Yeah, if they, like, set something up. But then the like, rental agency has a way of them doing just, like, watching the video tour or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a whole thing. And that's when it sends the, like, cancellation.
But then they didn't tell us why it was canceled. And so we didn't know what was going on.
And they didn't tell us that that's how their system works or anything. So we keep having it ready, expecting someone to show up, and then no one shows up.
Yeah. And then, we felt like somebody needed to be there, partially for the animals and partially because literally no one at that management company, including maintenance, has a key to our front door.
Yeah.
So now, like, I'm obviously going to be out of town. And so I'm also leaving a lot out. I sent Brandon a fucking novel, to which he responded, sorry, basically. He needs to do better at apologizing to angry tenants, because it was
you never want to be on the receiving end of a talking to by Shannon. It's very frightening. Also, you never want her to knock on your front door because one time Shannon and I were canvassing for Bernie Sanders in Iowa, and Shannon knocked on an apartment door, and people on the other side of the hall opened their doors because she knocks like she's the cops. It's scary.
She just knocks with a purpose, okay?
I gotta make sure they can hear me.
Yeah, everyone in that building could hear you.
Ugh. But yeah, so I'm not going to be there tomorrow, obviously, because I am 4 hours away.
Look, I'm fully expecting no one to show up.
I mean, yeah, we're half expecting no one to show up, even though now the leasing people, they know that they're allowed to come in. And then I had to ask Brandon 3 separate times why he thought we said that. And then after the 3rd time, he finally was like, I'll look into it. And I was like, why did you not offer that in the first place? Like, Anyway. And
that so, like, or they will show up and they're not going to have a key.
Which I told Shelby, like, because they always call me because I'm, like, the first person on the lease. And I was like, if they call me, I'm going to tell them that I'm out of town and that I don't know where you are, because technically I won't know where you are, and that Brandon told me that they had a key. So they need to go get their key.
And if I get contacted at some point, I'm going to be like, but Brandon assured us that you would have a key.
I have it in writing that they have a key. So...
Yep. So, like...
That's their problem then. So, that was a very long rant about our housing problems. I'm very sorry. But again, we had to fill time because I only have 3 pages of notes. So, if you want to go...
Also, we've said this before.
1% of her normal notes.
Yeah.
We've said this before. This is just group therapy for us.
Yes. I'm not going to edit any of that out. Everybody has to listen to us complain.
Sorry.
Okay.
Here's where the episode starts. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome back, skippers.
If you want to go to the episode 72 folder.
I've been very patiently waiting. I could have clicked on it.
Thank you. I'm glad that you did it.
Oh, I already clicked on it, but I didn't read it.
Oh my god. Here we go.
I'm so excited for it.
This is what I meant.
I did read it.
It's super not a bummer. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you.
I wanted to pick something fun. That was also kind of a crime.
Like Hannah's people.
Yes. Because this is just the most Canadian story you could possibly think of.
Speaking of Canada,
I know. I roll in with and here's the saddest story you've ever heard.
And then I'm like, people stole syrup.
Did you know Canada has crime?
Revolving around syrup specifically.
Oh, also really quick, look at your group chat, because remember how I said that Wednesdays are early release days? I totally forgot I have to do this until December.
You have to
look
do
at
training.
what time I get to. Yep.
Ew.
And it's the worst
so
kind of
late.
training. It's like kids coming at you to kill you training. What do you do? How to tackle.
Oh man.
On Thursday at 6 a.m, instead of unpacking my 6,000 boxes, I get to do an active shooter drill. So.
Oh, we're having one of those this week too. We have 2 fire drills and a hero drill.
We don't even
We're
do that
fire
for
drill
me
down.
at my university. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Great. Did somebody say speaking of Canada, or did I?
Oh, I
imagine
did.
that?
I did.
Okay.
Speaking of Canada, Hannah's new nickname is Hannada because I just
Said it.
speak yesterday.
It's like Canada, but me.
Yes.
I say sorry a lot.
Yeah.
Moose are cool. I don't know. What else do you want from me? I live in the ice. I'm an ice queen.
Yep.
Didn't you let your neighbors tap your tree for?
They did tap my tree for maple syrup. It's in my fridge.
Exactly. So basically.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get going now instead of petering out with whatever we were talking about. Okay, so we're talking about the Great Canadian...
you think we can't have a strong ending.
Yes.
You're right, but...
Yeah. We're talking about the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. It's what it sounds like. People stole syrup, but there's like a lot more to it than that, I promise.
Okay, do you guys say syrup, or... You just said syrup, but
I say syrup.
Do you say syrup?
I don't know, obviously.
Syrup.
I feel like it's interchangeable with
I think it is.
But
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
I feel
It's
like
like
I
caramel
say
and
syrup
caramel.
depending on context of like what's around it.
I say syrup. Pretty much.
I'm sure I say syrup.
Always. Yeah.
Like, caramel and caramel to me are... They're not different things, but like... different contexts require a different pronunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like caramel macchiato, you have to have all 3 syllables.
No, I say caramel macchiato.
Okay, well you're
I never say
dumb.
caramel. That's not a Southern Illinois word. It's caramel.
Caramel.
I know.
Get your washers. Tornado. You know what's so fucking crazy? You guys had tornadoes last week, and today it is snowing at my aunt's house.
Yeah.
Like,
It might snow here this weekend.
Oh, ew. I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
up there then. Ugh. Okay.
ooh, I hope it snows. Ooh, okay, sorry.
Can I read
keep
my
going.
sources
Checking
now?
the weather. Yes.
Okay, first is Wikipedia, which the Wikipedia page on this is shit. There's a Vanity Fair article. That's the thing. I have a lot of sources, but they all have the same information. I have a Vanity Fair article, an article from the Culture Trip, an article from the AV Club, an article from Vice, an article from History101.com, and then an episode of Dirty Money on Netflix. I think it's season 1, episode like 5 or something. That goes into something else, which we'll talk. Okay, so Anyway, I am going to give background, and this background is mostly what that episode goes into. So, in 1966, a bunch of maple syrup producers in Canada joined together and created the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, which is FPAC, which that acronym fits the French name, not the English one.
I was gonna say they were missing some letters.
No, I know.
Also,
I specifically put that in there because I knew the acronym didn't match. It's because it's for the French name, not the English one.
Because it's Quebec.
Yes.
But anytime I hear Federation, I just think about Star Trek. So can you just imagine Star Trek is a bunch of Canadians? Oh my god. I'm writing this show now.
Yes. If you go to slide 2, this is their logo. I was like, I had to get really creative with my slides here. Because there's nothing. So that Netflix Dirty Money episode goes into FPAC. So the Vanity Fair article and a whole bunch of other people compare them to OPEC, which is like the oil conglomerate kind of thing, while others compare them to a cartel or a mafia. And that angle is what the Dirty Money episode goes into. So FPAC maintains a strategic reserve of maple syrup, officially known as the International Strategic Reserve, or ISR, and the syrup is held in warehouses in several rural Quebec towns. And I need to point this out because it was pointed out in every single article. We are focusing on, like, quote-unquote real maple syrup, not
yes.
like Aunt Jemima or Mrs. Buttersworth or whatever that other one is.
Yeah,
That's not what
garbage.
I'm talking about.
This is straight out of a tree.
Yeah, this is literally, they took it out of a tree. They took it out of a tree and boiled it, and now it is syrup. Like, that is what we are talking about here.
Because...
Are you a maple syrup truther?
Me? No, my dad is. My dad literally has, like, a dealer. I don't know if he's from Vermont or New York. I can't remember. But, Shannon,
no, I
you laugh,
you.
but we used to get, like, I'm not even kidding, like, a 10-gallon jug of it every year.
I was gonna say,
and my dad would just pour it into the littler one until it was all gone.
Goes up to Minnesota, we always get maple syrup from, like, up on the North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, all these Vermonters are like, we make the best maple syrup, and I was like, the shit that came out of my tree is pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my mouth stopped working. Out of my...
You sound like me. So, basically the reason that FPAC even formed and why they made this reserve is they wanted to have a greater control of the maple syrup market. So if you go to slide 3, this is kind of demonstrates it. So Quebec makes between 70 and 80% of the world's maple syrup.
Can you imagine being a robber baron for fucking maple syrup?
That's what FPAC is.
I know, Shannon. I'm getting that from the context.
Literally,
yes, it's so
job.
funny.
Are you a Rockefeller? Are you a Carnegie? No, I'm an FPAC.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I do want to point out, the Vanity Fair article pointed out, if Americans actually cared to, they could topple that very easily. Like, New York State has 3 times more maple trees than all of Quebec's maple farms combined. So, like, if we actually gave a shit, we could put FPAC out of business real easy.
Oh, yeah.
But,
it's
like,
just that
no one
Americans
cares.
like the sugary version rather than the maple version.
Yeah, well, plus, I mean...
like, fake syrup is cheaper and...
It's cheaper,
grosser,
exactly.
and
Like,
we're
maple
cheap and
syrup,
gross.
like, real maple syrup, partially because of FPAC, is real fucking expensive. So, I'll explain how it works in a minute, but as of 2016, real maple syrup was valued at over $1,300 per barrel. In 2020, it was about $2,000 per barrel. And then I saw 2 different numbers. I think it depends on the day just because oil prices change so much. Maple syrup consistently is valued at 13 to 30 times the price of crude oil.
Holy shit.
I know!
Oh my god.
Wow.
Again,
Shannon, have you played The Long Dark yet?
Yeah. I haven't played the actual story. I played the survival mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you played it when it was updated to add maple syrup?
No.
That is one of my favorite things to find because it has so many calories.
Yes!
That shit will keep
That's
you going.
hysterical. I didn't know they added that. That's funny.
Yes, they added maple syrup and ketchup chips. It's very Canadian.
I mean, that makes sense. You're in Canada. Yeah, but yeah, I saw different numbers for how... Oh, I put this down further. I don't know if this is American or Canadian dollars. No one ever specified.
Oh.
So I don't know, like, which currency this is all in. I honestly could not tell
Does
you.
your money have a maple leaf or a president? A dead white guy.
That doesn't help me when they just write out 1300 with a dollar sign in front of it.
Yeah, can't help you.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So how FPAC works. So if you go to slide 4, here is maple syrup because I needed a slide. So there are around 13,500 maple syrup producers in Quebec. So these are like either families or like independent people who have like maple tree farms, basically. And they
or your neighbor just comes over with a drill one day and a bucket and says, hey.
Yeah.
Can I tap your tree?
Maple syrup producers in Quebec are required to join FPAC. Like, they literally have to do it. Which is why a lot of people could refer to FPAC as a cartel or a mafia. And so...
Holy shit.
Wait,
even if you're doing it, like, just for yourself?
Yes. As far as I'm aware, yes.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
As far as I'm aware. That might be wrong. It might be only if you are planning on selling it. I don't know. Or it might be people who are like, my job is to produce maple syrup. It's probably more that. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna take back my previous statement. I'm pretty sure it would only be if your job is to produce maple syrup.
Or like if you have a farm and it's one of the things you produce.
Yeah, I think if you just stick a tap in a tree, I don't think you are now
like
technically a maple
FPAC's
syrup
not
producer.
Gonna, like, bust down your door, are they? And like, hey there, are you?
Yeah, I don't think
tapping your tree back there.
They're sending the Mounties after you.
The Mounties come up later.
So.
But yeah,
I love the Mounties.
I don't think so. So yeah, if you are producing maple syrup, I believe for a profit, you are required to join FPAC. So each producer sends a fixed amount of syrup to FPAC for sale that year, and the syrup is inspected, tasted, and graded by FPAC. So the grade of your syrup, which by grade they mean like, is it light syrup, is it dark syrup? It's not like a quality kind of thing. It's more like the coloration.
Yeah, because it depends on when you get it from the tree, and it depends on like the climate at the time.
Yeah.
It can fluctuate.
Yeah, and so FPAC sets all of that. You as a producer have no control over how your syrup is going to be marketed and sold. And then, so there is an enforced quota of how much syrup each producer can make in any season. In high production years, anything over the quota is put into the reserve.
What is this fucking communist shit? What is happening?
It's all about maple syrup.
And you are not paid until your syrup is sold, which can take years.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Which I also should say, anything over the quota is put into the reserve, or it's sold to black market buyers, because there is a black market for maple syrup.
Well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. On top of this...
Oh my god, what if that's where my dad gets his syrup from?
I mean, it might be. It might be. I don't know. So FPAC also keeps $54 per barrel as kind of like a tax or like a membership fee kind of thing. It's kind of like a consignment, where like you will sell this for me and you get to keep whatever percent of the profit, except in this case it's just a flat $54. And
this is Lula Rich, but
I know syrup. It is.
Yeah. It is both capitalist and communist. And
yes.
I'm so confused.
It's so.
Do I like it or do I hate it?
Yeah. And then at any given time, again, I don't know if this is Canadian or American dollars. The reserve is worth. Guess how much it's worth. I just want to. I want guesses.
Oh, I'm
gonna
throw out a $1 billion.
Billion?
Yeah.
No, not. We're lower, much lower than that. I understand why you would go that way, though. Shelby, do you have a guess?
100 million.
Closer. It's 185 million.
All right.
Yeah, that's just the reserve, not the shit that they're selling. That's just the reserve.
Okay. What the fuck? I think that because what they're selling, damn, that's so many syrup. So many syrup. Wow.
Yeah. And then also there's as I've been explaining this, you two have been like, oh my god, that's so insane. This is really weird. There's a lot of controversy around FPAC for the reasons that we have probably thought of.
Yeah, because you just said they're like a drug cartel.
Yeah,
with
so
sugar that comes out of a tree.
Yeah, and so this aspect of it is what that Netflix Dirty Money episode goes into, which I didn't watch the whole thing because I ran out of time because I literally wrote these today because I have had a week and it's only Tuesday. So, I watched enough just to get some more background info though. So some of the producers, I think most of the most of the maple syrup producers, from my understanding, want FPAC to go away and for it just to be a free market, while others are proud of FPAC and want it to continue. So one of the women interviewed for the Netflix show, her name is Angela Grenier. Oh, I should also say, all these people are French Canadian. I will butcher their names. We're just accept that going forward.
French is such a hard
language.
language.
you also can't say it right because it's not real French. It's Canadian French, so
exactly.
It's different to begin with.
Well, I can't even say it correctly in Canadian French. I'm going to say it in English because that's how I talk.
Shannon, you've been up here. Everything, because everyone up here is French Canadian, so like everything up here is in French and English, and I can't do French. Bothers me. It doesn't bother me. I just no. Canadians need to go back to their country. What I mean is, I'm so bad at French that it's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, that's how I am with this. Like, I'm going to mispronounce these, and I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. I don't know French. Like,
I have literally tried to learn French. Like, not even tried to learn the language French, just how to pronounce French words.
Why would you try? There's no rhyme or reason.
So many times, and I don't understand.
I don't either.
I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, I don't either.
And like, that's even like with my linguistics training, like I can technically like produce like a click language, but I can't speak French because I just can't. Yeah. Like, why?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this woman named Angela Grenier, who again, I'm probably fucking up her name. I'm so sorry. She was interviewed for the show. She is a maple syrup producer. She fucking hates FPAC. Like, one of the quotes from her is that, like, all of the sap coming out of her trees is owned by FPAC. Like, that is how a lot of these people feel. It's just that they're just kind of there to handle everything, you know?
Right, they're being exploited.
Exactly. Like, they feel like they're being exploited.
All right, I'm now against FPAC.
They're for FPAC at this point.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, they are working for FPAC, but they're not actually being paid because they don't get paid until their syrup is sold. Yeah. And who knows when the fuck that's going to be.
Well, and
yeah, because if the reserve for that year fills...
Sorry. Go ahead.
If the reserve for that year fills up and you're, like, the last one to send shit in, you're not going to get paid until, like...
That reserve is gone. Yeah.
Right.
Like, who knows?
And it could be that, like, if FPAC decides they don't like this one, you know, farmer or whatever, they could be like, don't sell theirs.
I mean,
or they sell it on the black market and they don't... The owner doesn't get the profit.
You just don't get paid.
Oh, no. FPAC doesn't do anything on the black market. They, like...
Shannon.
Okay. None of the reserve... From FPAC, none of the reserve goes onto the black market. The black market exists solely so that these maple syrup producers can sell their excess without having to give it to FPAC. It is a workaround FPAC. It is not... Yeah, it is a workaround for them to get out of having to put things into the reserve. And so she actually sold on the black market to one of the guys who was later convicted of committing this theft. And then on the flip side of that, another guy they interviewed, whose name I did not bother writing down because I did not like him. He's, like, cool with it and sees it as a success because, like, back in the day, like, in the 60s when this was formed, like, maple syrup as an industry was really failing and it wasn't being, like, revitalized with, like, younger workers and stuff like that. So he thinks it's great and that it needs to continue, but his dad used to be the VP of FPAC. So...
Yeah, so you're biased. And wrong.
Yeah, so I don't believe...
So you're biased and wrong.
Yes, he is. He's biased and wrong. So I don't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth. So, the discovery of the theft. This was either July or August. I saw both. This is the level of information I am working with here. It's either July or August of 2012. An FPAC inspector, I think he was an inspector, they didn't actually say, I think he was an inspector, named Michel Gavreau, was climbing around one of the reserve warehouses in... It's St. Louis to Blandford is what it looks like. I'm sure that's wrong. So if you go to slide 5, this is just a picture of one of the warehouses.
St. Louis to Blandford.
I know. Like I said, I'm sure it's wrong. That's the best I can do. If you go to slide 5, this is what one of their warehouses looks like. It's just white barrels.
Wow.
Yes, it's just white barrels everywhere.
That looks like some apocalypse shit.
It really does. It does.
Creepy.
It does.
Like, what's in there?
Yeah, it really does. So
imagine being trapped
chills.
So I don't know if this was normal for him specifically, or this is what FPAC inspectors did. He would like climb to the top of a stack as part of his inspection. I don't know why. No one explained to me why he was climbing on stacks of barrels filled with syrup. No one explained it to me.
That sounds incredibly stupid and dangerous.
Well, okay, so the thing is, they normally weigh like 600 pounds, so they're not going to move.
But when it does, and the whole thing topples over you, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're so dead.
That was what happened. Well, he didn't die. He didn't even get hurt. But the thing was, he was climbing up the stack of barrels, which he had done many, many times before. And normally, they were super sturdy because they weighed more than 600 pounds. But one of the barrels near the top of the stack almost toppled over when he grabbed it. And so he was like, oh, this weighs like 10 pounds instead of 600. What the fuck is going on? And then he knocked on it, and it sounded like a gong, which they were like, okay, this is empty. And then he unscrewed the cap.
What gave it away?
Yeah. And then he unscrewed the cap and confirmed that it was empty. And then they went through the rest of the warehouse and found a shit ton more that did not contain syrup. They were either fully empty or filled with water. Either or. Huh. So they called FPAC headquarters, who called the police. I don't know why they didn't just call the police, whatever. And the police were soon joined by the Mounties and U.S. Customs. I don't know why. The U.S. had to be involved because we have to be involved with everything. I'm sure there was a reason, but again...
Well, is that a border town?
I don't know, actually. Maybe. That would explain it.
Why.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up. What is it? St. Louis Obispo?
It's St. Louis, and then D-E, and then Blandford is the next word.
Blandford.
Yeah. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I would say I would say it the same way.
Yeah. And so the thing is, with this warehouse, there weren't any security cameras, and they only inspected it once a year. They only inspected all of their warehouses once a year because they were like, who's going to do anything to syrup?
It's not a border town.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, I think it's a Tumblr post for that guy who's like, what are you going to do? Stab me? Get stabbed. Like, it's that same thing. It's like, what are you going to do? Steal a bunch of syrup? It's like, yes, that's literally what they do.
Steal syrup.
Yeah. And so I believe that this was discovered like during their yearly inspection. So they were like, oh, this could have been happening for an entire calendar year. And we didn't know about it that entire time. And so overall, they discovered that 9,561 barrels containing nearly 540,000 gallons of syrup had been stolen. And this was 12.4% of the entire reserve.
Holy shit.
Which had a value of between $13.4 million and $18.7 million. I saw different numbers. I think it was because some of the articles were written in 2012 and some of them were written in 2020. So the amount would have been different, adjusting for inflation and just syrup worth, I suppose. So, and again, I don't know which currency that's in because no one fucking said. So, this was obviously the biggest theft in Quebec history. And yeah, it was a lot. So, the theft itself. So, the warehouse that the syrup was stolen from is actually like an extra warehouse. So, in 2011...
Oh my god. Which means there's another one full of shit.
Oh no, they're scattered all across Quebec. Yeah, they're scattered all across Quebec in like these little farming towns, basically, or like little rural areas. But this was like an overflow because in 2011 they ended up with more syrup in the reserve than they had anticipated, so they rented out this warehouse to keep up with what was now in the reserve.
That's crazy.
So the warehouse was partly owned by the wife of a man named Avik Karen, who was later discovered to be one of the ringleaders. So we go to slide 6. This is Karen. He had a previous conviction for insurance fraud. He faked a car theft to collect the insurance money. So that's where he's coming from.
Guy.
He teamed up with another man named Richard Valeris, I know that's wrong, I don't care, who was involved in the maple syrup black market. If you can go to slide 7, that's him. He's gross. He was known as a...
Ooh, he looks really smarmy.
Yeah, he does. He was known as a barrel roller. He bought and sold syrup directly from producers, bypassing FPAC entirely. So he was very deeply involved in that black market. And they have a term. It's a barrel roller, which I find hysterical. And then this guy's father, Raymond, also became involved later on. And then there was one more guy named Etienne St. Pierre. And if you go to slide 8, this is him. And then we're looking at his face the entire rest of the time because I couldn't be bothered to make another slide. He also got involved. So he was based in New Brunswick, which is a different province area in Canada.
Yeah, that's north of me.
Yeah. So he's not under FPAC because FPAC only applies to Quebec. So he would buy black market syrup from Quebec producers and then sell it as New Brunswick syrup. And technically he's not under FPAC rules, but FPAC says that what he's doing is illegal anyway. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was what he did. So all these people were already involved. I mean, other than Karen, they were all already involved in the black market syrup, which is just still, like, why is there a black market for syrup or whatever?
How is Karen spelled? Please tell me.
Caron.
Not yep. Karen. Like,
yeah, Karen. It's not spelled like that kind of Karen.
Imagine being the maple syrup, the Karen of maple syrup.
Yeah.
I want to speak to your FPAC.
Oh, man. Okay, so the thieves rented out space in the warehouse, because apparently there's still space in this fucking warehouse, and got a truck driver named Sebastian Jutras to join them. I couldn't find a picture of him, or else I would have put one in.
Should have just put up a truck.
I should have just put up a truck. So they would transport a few barrels away from the warehouse at a time, and then would siphon it out and into their own barrels. And then they would fill the barrels with water and return the originals back. They would then move the syrup out of Quebec where it was easier to sell. This went on for nearly a year until that FPAC inspector nearly fell from the stack of barrels. So what happened was they'd gotten lazy and stopped filling the barrels with water. But if they continued to do that, they probably would have gotten away with it for a lot longer. If not, like,
yeah,
they might still be doing this.
When you said they were filling it with water, my first thought was, well, why hadn't they filled that one with water?
They got lazy. That's literally why.
That's so stupid.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we're now at my last section because I couldn't find any information on the actual investigation. It just said they investigated. And I'm like, okay, cool, but
yes,
how?
And?
Like, yeah. But they were able to arrest these guys who I mentioned and a whole bunch of others. There were like 30 people arrested for this thing, or 36 people or something. Like, it was a huge, very involved operation here. So Richard Valeris was sentenced to 8 years in prison and given a $9.4 million fine with an extension of his prison term to 14 years if the fine isn't paid. So I feel like he's going to be in prison for 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tried to argue in court that he had been forced at gunpoint to participate, but, like, no one bought that. Really?
Who in Canada has a gun?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's
a dumb statement. Everyone can once again.
So his father, Raymond, who again I mentioned was involved, it also didn't say, like, how these people were involved other than the truck driver. Like, it just said they were involved. They're like, okay, but what did they do? Like,
right.
This was really frustrating. So yeah, Richard's father, Raymond, was sentenced to 2 years minus 1 day. I don't know why.
Why is Canada like this?
Well, because St. Pierre got that same sentence. But he also had a fine, which I'm going to get to. But, like, why? Like, is that normal in Canada? I don't know. I could not find an explanation as to why it's 2 years minus 1 day. I don't know. But, yeah, Raymond was sentenced to 2 years minus 1 day and 3 years of probation. Etienne St. Pierre was sentenced to 2 years minus 1 day, 3 years of probation, and an $850,000 fine. He didn't have the thing where if you don't pay it, you're getting extra jail time. He just had to pay the fine. And yes.
Sorry, this is probably a stupid question.
That's fine. We need to fill time.
What is the point of the minus 1 day?
I don't know.
When they give out sentences?
I've never seen that before. I
No,
literally
I've
have
seen
no
it.
idea.
I've heard, like, a
Well-
life sentence minus 1 day. And I'm like,
Minus 1 day.
what? Why?
Well, what I've heard before is like a life or like 60 or life plus 60 years or whatever. And it's like, but wouldn't that just be life anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so with that, that's more of that's kind of more symbolic. And then also those are usually like if you get life plus 60 or whatever, you're being tried for more than one crime. And so that is a way for them to consolidate those sentences while still getting different things. Does that make sense?
Okay, so yeah, so maybe they were also being charged with defiling maple syrup. Because I feel like that's
here we go.
a crime in Canada.
So I just Googled this. So like in the US prison system, like some crimes, the minimum sentence is over 1 year, but it might not be like bad enough actually for them to get over 1 year. So they give them a year and a day. Because then it's technically over 1 year in prison. So it might be something like that where what they didn't think was enough to sentence them to 2 years. So they did 2 years minus 1 day. Does that make sense?
So it's a year and 364 days.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
It's probably, yeah.
I'm over it.
I know. It's weird.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, St. Pierre, he got all of that as a sentence. So he had taken the stolen syrup and sold it as New Brunswick syrup, which is what he had done forever. He told the jury, you can't prove what tree the syrup came from.
I mean,
he's not
right.
wrong. You can't. Like, and so then Avik, which it might be Avik, I don't fucking know. Karen pled guilty and was sentenced to 5 years plus a $1.2 million fine. And then Sebastian Jutras, who was the truck driver, he served 8 months in prison. And that's literally all of the information that I can find. Like, I probably could have gone more into the FPAC stuff and how it's like a cartel, but I didn't. Yeah.
Well,
that's literally it. Some people stole a bunch of syrup for a year because FPAC doesn't actually monitor its fucking reserve. And then they somehow got caught. Apparently no one knows how because no one explained how. And then that was it. Well, because like, okay, Sinisterhood did an episode on this. And so, and like, I've listened to it and it was like over an hour long. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's like info. There's not. I literally used the same sources they did. But I think they went more into the FPAC stuff. So. Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, we're at 47 minutes. Most of it is us complaining about our apartment, but that's okay.
Yeah, whatever happens. So this has been Property Crimes with
yes,
the Triad.
Yeah.
Property crimes with maple syrup.
I wanted something definitely not a bummer. I mean, it's not technically a victimless crime because FPAC was stolen from, but like, is FPAC really a victim? Really? So like...
Yeah, the cartel is really a big victim of this. And, you know, my heart goes out to the cartel and their cartel families.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things that like in that Vanity Fair article, people were like, the U.S. has a reserve of like oil or like fuel for things, and Canada has a maple syrup reserve.
As they should.
Specifically because a bunch of white dudes wanted to control how much maple syrup cost. Like...
Why?
Yeah, it's just,
it's already like a limited resource. It's so hard to make.
Yeah. Like, it's like, just...
It's already expensive.
Yeah.
Is it hard to make?
No,
because
it's time consuming.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's time consuming.
Like, my neighbors didn't seem to have very much trouble with it. They just
they
would come over every morning and switch the bucket out. It seemed like they were getting a lot of shit out of that tree.
Yeah, it's just time consuming, and it is really dependent like on the climate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, if New York State and Vermont got their shit together, they could topple FPAC really easily.
Do it.
But, like, even then, that would drive down the price.
Don't.
So then the individual producers would be like, well, we don't have FPAC anymore, but now my syrup is worth $2 instead of $15. Cool.
Right.
So, either way, it's bad.
Well,
So,
you
like,
can market
which
that
do you
shit,
want?
too. You can be
Yeah.
like, it's Canadian maple syrup, so it's
Yeah.
better. Because
Well, I mean-
we're Canadian.
Yeah, someone...
The original maple syrup.
Yeah, one of the articles I read, I don't remember which one, I read a bunch, said how, like, based on the sugar content, so, like, syrup is, like, 66% sugar, like, after it's been boiled and everything. And if you get higher than that, it technically is candy or, like, taffy. And I'm like, they can turn it into taffy. Like, there's other shit they can... Not taffy, maybe, but, like, candy of some kind. I'm just thinking taffy, it probably has, like, a similar consistency. But yeah, if you get above that 66%, technically it's not syrup anymore and it's candy. And I'm like, okay, so then, like, make it be candy. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Get rid of the reserve. Just turn all of your extra into candy and sell that. Duh. I'm sure it's not that easy.
Oh, have you ever had that maple candy, though?
I don't think I have.
My dad loves that shit. It's
I
so
feel like
gross.
I would know.
It's like...
I don't like
It's
it.
like eating a mouthful of, like, really sweet sand. It's really gross.
I don't think I have.
It's a gross consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really bad Canadian/New Englander because I like maple syrup, but I don't like anything else maple. Like, I just think it's gross.
Yeah.
And I only like maple syrup, like 3 drops on my pancakes and back off.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually had real maple syrup. We don't buy it. It's expensive.
Well,
It's like
I guess
$15 a bottle.
where the fuck are you buying maple syrup?
That's how much real maple syrup is worth in
I was
Southern
gonna
Illinois.
That's how much it costs.
Yeah.
Not all of us
Guess
have
I'm
a black
privileged
market
because
dealer.
it literally
Yeah.
grows on my tree.
Yeah. We don't all just have maple trees growing in our backyard, who knows?
We don't just all live in Stardew Valley like Hannah.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, but that's just expensive. We're not buying that. No.
All right, I'll bring you some next time. I
Okay.
come see you.
It is good though.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
fine. It's whatever.
Never had it.
If you like the taste of maple,
Yeah. Well, I also just don't really like using syrup because I worked at a breakfast place for too long. I didn't even work there that long. It was long enough. I hate cleaning syrup off of plates, and now I never want to eat it ever
I was
again.
gonna say, if you work in any restaurant for any length of time, it's too long.
True. Yeah, but this was a breakfast place, and everyone put syrup on everything, and I had to clean it, and it was horrible, and it made me never want to eat syrup ever again. Kind of like how I don't want to eat rainbow sherbet ever again because that one fell out of the freezer at the ice cream place and exploded everywhere. So
but that was a
Your
ghost.
that was the ghost.
Are you
yes.
afraid of the ghost or the sticky? Pick
It's-
one.
it's
You can
the
only
sticky.
choose one.
It's the sticky. I can't fucking do it. It took
She
so
can
long
handle
to
a
clean.
ghost. She can't handle Steve.
She-
I
I don't
grew up
fucking
with
fight a
ghosts.
ghost.
Like, I didn't grow up with an entire gallon of rainbow sherbet melting on the floor all night for no reason.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Speaking of rainbow sherbet, you know what's really hard to find? Just lime sherbet. That's all I wanted this Halloween to put in my punch, but I had to put rainbow because
Aw.
no one sells just lime. They sell just
Ooh.
orange.
I just
You can
remembered
get just lemon.
they're gonna have cranberry Sprite soon. I
Really?
love
They already have
Sprite.
cranberry ginger ale.
Yeah,
That's what I used.
I love
Also,
cranberry
Shannon,
Sprite.
you forgot your candy here.
I know I did. I realized it after I left. I bought like
Yeah.
a gigantic bag of Halloween candy and I was gonna bring it up here and then I forgot it. So,
I
I
had a
have so
banana
many
Laffy
Tootsie Rolls in my
Taffy.
car.
That's
It
fine.
should be illegal.
no, Shelby, please eat out of that. I'll probably bring it to work and be like, I have all this candy. Someone please take it.
I'm not much of a candy eater, so I
Yeah.
probably won't eat that much, but
Yeah. Law students, take this candy.
right.
They'll take free candy.
Shannon's gonna be that librarian.
Yeah, no, seriously, like, if we don't get rid of it, I mean, I'm not going to be able to get rid of that thing. When I get back, I might be emailing my boss to be like, I have this candy. Can I please bring it in and put it in bowls strategically placed around the library so I don't have to have it anymore?
Right.
We can put one at the circ desk. We can put one at the ref desk. Like, we have places we can put candy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do we have any actual comments about the maple syrup heist or maple syrup in general any further before we stop?
I just hope that the producers of Canada can seize the means of production.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Down with that pack.
Down with FPAC. Viva la whatever the fuck you're called. I don't know, maple syrup farmer.
Okay, well,
I'll go talk to the people of Vermont this weekend when I'm up there.
Yes.
Please start producing more. Kill F back.
Okay, our ending is that we have no ending. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Peace, love, God bless. Thanks for listening to The Triad. Our music is by Scott Buckley. Our audio is recorded by our sound engineers, Craig Bott and Audrey Credo.
If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr as The Triad Podcast.
We're also on Patreon as The Triad. Currently, all Patreon funds will go towards the cost of hosting the show. Each tier has its own rewards, but every patron receives our undying gratitude. Do you have comments, questions, or stories? Email us at thetriadpod@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive.